Well, good morning. We're at Frog Hair Farm City, and we're going to do a little project today to fix something I screwed up. Yeah, that's a lot of different things. But anyway, stick with me on this one. I'm going to do something that I learned from somebody else on YouTube. How about that? And then I'll give them credit, obviously. But what we've got going on here, and I'll turn you around and show you what it is a transplanting operation. So what we've got here is my little blueberry patch. I planted these last fall. They stayed green. They survived the winter, surprisingly enough, happily enough, and so forth. And the problem is that's all they're really doing is surviving. You know, you can't really say these look like they're thriving. They're pretty scrawny and you know, just not necessarily unhealthy, but definitely not robust. The problem is I didn't do my research before I planted them, and now that I have, I know that these things need acidic soil. Well, we've got a pH here of just under 6, and they need about 4.5, 4 to 5.5 at the upside. And so how do you do that when they're in the ground? Well, a lot of guys pull them out or never put them in to begin with and put them in containers and make up an acidic mix and all that stuff. I don't really want to put them in containers, but I did find a guy that had a better idea. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try that out. We're going to slide over a little bit and we're going to dig some holes. Basically, we're going to make pots in the ground. We're going to dig those up, and then we're going to mix up all of this stuff with a little bit of the native soil and build out some acidic soil around these things, you know, in a pretty decent circle. I've got the tiller hooked up to the 1020 already, so I think I'm going to come in here and till this grass strip up, clean it up real nice, and then we'll start digging our holes. And then once we're all done, we'll just put leaves down and mulch the whole thing. Got that done. Whew, fluffy. We'll take care of the rest of that grass with a shovel, and then we'll dig our holes in here, our in-ground pots, if you will, and then we'll get to mixing up some soil, put them in the pots, dig our plants, plug them in. All right, well, got the first hole dug here, and so what I did was took off the top layer, put it over here in the bucket. We'll use that to mix with the sphagnum moss and the cow manure. And we'll fill this hole back up, and then we'll move on to the next one. I will tell you that little 1020, it's my favorite little Massey Ferguson. It's kind of works great for this kind of stuff. So what I'm going to be doing here, I've got about, I don't know, a little less than a third of my bucket full of dirt. We'll put about a third of the sphagnum in it, and probably a bag of manure. Mix it all together, and then we'll start filling our holes up. I'm curious what this reads in pH just freshly mixed up. Let's try it. No real change. More sphagnum. How about that? Let's see what sphagnum is by itself. Well, that's a revolting development. So I'm glad the sun's coming out when it's cloudy like that. So warm enough to fly. The bees take offense. I've already had 2 or 3 come after me over here. And when they single you out and they just one bee, they mean business. So anyway, I'm glad the sun's coming out. They can keep busy on other things. So what I'm going to also do here is I'm going to mix in some soil sulfur, and this is an acidifier as well, stinky. It's longer term, but these are going to be in here for a while, so we might as well mix that in now with this this stuff. One thing about the dirt around here is I do get a lot of earthworms, which is an encouraging thing. So I think, you know, generally we've got some decent soil here, just not what blueberries love. And so far, this sphagnum though, pretty neutral pH. So I'm a little concerned about all my efforts here. But we're gonna, when we transplant them, we're gonna add some soil acidifier, and that's a much faster acting acidifier, and maybe that'll give them a kick. All right, well, just dug the last hole, the 9th one. Mixed up the last batch of soil that will go into the hole. So what I've been doing, I'm digging these a little deeper with the idea that these plants will root a little deeper, so it'll access moisture when it's dry around here, which is often, as well as potentially winter better. So I tended to go deeper rather than wider. That's my 3 piles of excavation there. Yuck. Anyway, so what I'm doing, sorry about the wind. So what I'm doing is I've been, you know, one thing I've been complaining about not having enough rain, but for this project it worked out okay. The tiller really pulverized that top layer, which allowed me to really make the mixing easy. So I about 1/3 of a bucket of native dirt, about 1/3 of peat moss, probably a little less than 1/3 of that of the cow manure, and then I mixed in the soil sulfur, which you can see those little granules. By putting the soil sulfur in now, you can see that your mix is pretty even just by the distribution of the granules. Now, my understanding is those take a while to work, and it also just makes sense to put it in now so that 2, 3, 5 months, whatever it is later, that'll start working its magic and helping maintain the acidity of these little in-ground pots. So it took, for these 9 holes, 5 bags of cow manure, 2 bales of 3.8 cubic foot bales of sphagnum moss, and 1 bag of the high yield brand soil sulfur is what it took. I didn't use any scientific measurements. I just kind of shook in the sulfur that looked about right, and I think I distributed about evenly. All right, well, we've got them transplanted. I mounted them up a bit so they drain a little bit because they were pretty wet over here actually. But you have to realize that those were just plugged right straight into that clay soil. So that, you know, retains a lot of moisture, especially with the mulch on top. So put a little moats around them. So we'll kind of indirectly water them, get them soaked up a bit because that mix is real dry. And we'll see what happens. Alrighty, well, we gave them all their first round of water. We'll let that soak up in that mix and probably come back in a couple hours and just give them a little bit more. I know that they need a lot, but I think we just want to make sure that that mix gets pretty well moist all the way through. So we are done for the day. Everything's that I want to transplant for now is transplanted, and they've gotten a shot of water. We'll clean up the piles later, but come tomorrow morning, give them another shot, and so on. I left one plant in place because I'm curious, and then I've got a spot for another one here. So anyway, I hope you found the video at least somewhat interesting. I'll keep you informed as far as how these plants do and so on. Then once the sun came out a little earlier today, the bees had better things to do and they left me alone for the rest of the day, which was nice. When they're irritated like that and they don't have sun and they pick you out, they're all after you. So anyhow, we got past that. Sun came out, they got happy, yay, and we got the job done we wanted to get done, plus a number of other things here during the course of this day. But I'll keep you informed about how this blueberry experiment works, and I'm probably going to prep some more holes and plant some more this fall. See you later.